guess I'd done my duty, and I was glad enough to help.
Stick around.
Did you know Wild Bill Hickock was holding a dead man's hand when he was shot? Discover this and 19 other tragic endings of legendary Wild West gunfighters. You won't want to miss these very interesting stories. Number 20, William Tulsa Jack Blake. Ever wondered how a cowboy transforms into a notorious outlaw? Meet William Tulsa Jack Blake, whose journey from ranch hand to feared bandit is a tale of adventure and peril. In the 1880s, Blake worked as a cowboy in Kansas, honing skills that would later serve him in less lawful pursuits. By 1892, he had drifted into Oklahoma Territory, where he crossed paths with the infamous Bill Doolin. This meeting led him to join the Wild Bunch Gang, also known as the Doolin-Dalton Gang. Blake quickly became a key member, participating in numerous bank and train robberies. One notable heist occurred on April 3, 1895, when the gang targeted a Rock Island train. They stormed the train, and when the messenger refused to open the safe, they fired 20 rounds into the car, ultimately making off with $400 in cash and other goods. However, Blake's criminal career was cut short. On April 4, 1895, a posse led by Deputy Marshal William Bartling Murrell tracked him to a hideout in Major County, Oklahoma. After a fierce 45-minute gun battle, Blake attempted to flee but was fatally shot. His death marked the beginning of the downfall of the Wild Bunch Gang. Number 19, George Bitter Creek Newcomb. What happens when love and lawlessness intertwine? George Bitter Creek Newcomb's life paints a vivid picture of romance amid a life of crime. Born around 1866 near Fort Scott, Kansas, Newcomb began working as a cowboy at the tender age of 12 years old. His adventures eventually led him to the Oklahoma Territory, where he joined the Dalton Gang. After disagreements with Bob Dalton, Newcomb and Bill Doolin formed the Wild Bunch Gang. During this time, Newcomb became romantically involved with 14-year-old Rose Dunn, known as the Rose of Cimarron. Her brothers, initially outlaws themselves, later turned bounty hunters, calling themselves the Dunn Brothers. By 1895, with a $5,000 bounty on his head, Newcomb sought refuge at the Dunn family ranch, possibly to visit Rose. However, on May 2, 1895, the Dunn brothers ambushed and killed both Newcomb and fellow outlaw Charlie Pierce, aiming to collect the reward. Number 18, Charlie Pierce.
When I was growing up, the two that I would mention are the writers at the Sports Illustrated.
Ever wondered how a Missouri-born cowboy became a notorious outlaw? Charlie Pierce's transformation from ranch hand to feared bandit is a tale of adventure and betrayal. Born around 1866 in Missouri, Pierce's early life remains largely a mystery. He eventually found work as a cowboy and horse racer, which led him to the Oklahoma Territory. There he joined the Dalton Gang, participating in various bank and train robberies. After the gang's downfall, Pierce became a member of the Doolin-Dalton Gang, also known as the Wild Bunch. He was involved in numerous heists and was present at the infamous Battle of Ingalls in 1893, where he sustained injuries but managed to escape. Pierce's close association with fellow outlaw George Bitter Creek Newcomb ultimately led to his demise. On May 2, 1895, seeking refuge, Pierce and Newcomb visited the Dunn family ranch, unaware that the Dunn brothers, former outlaws turned bounty hunters, planned to betray them. As Pierce and Newcomb dismounted, the Dunn brothers ambushed and killed them, collecting the bounty on their heads. Pierce's body was taken to Guthrie, Oklahoma, where he was buried. Interestingly, for years after his death, an unknown individual placed flowers on his grave annually, while the graves of the Dunn brothers were desecrated with hog entrails. Number 17, William F. Little Bill Radler.
Tillman's later life, with his wife Zoe and 2 kids. She was actually Bill's second wife.
Can an educated man from Pennsylvania become a notorious outlaw? Meet William F. Little Bill Radler, whose quest for adventure led him down a perilous path. Born in Pennsylvania in 1870, Radler was well educated and even attended college. However, his restless spirit drove him to Texas, where he worked as a cowboy before drifting into the Oklahoma Territory. There, he met Bill Doolin and joined the Doolin-Dalton gang around 1892. Radler participated in numerous bank and train robberies and was involved in several shootouts with lawmen. On September 6, 1895, Deputy U.S. Marshal Bill Tilghman tracked Radler to a hideout in Oklahoma. During the ensuing gunfight, Tilghman shot Radler multiple times, leading to his capture. Radler was sentenced to 10 years in prison. While incarcerated, he befriended fellow inmate William Sidney Porter, who later became the renowned writer O. Henry. Their friendship lasted until Radler's death. Due to complications from his gunshot wounds, Radler was paroled in 1903. He returned to Oklahoma, married Blanche Whitenack, and attempted to lead a lawful life, operating a cigar store and later a general store. Despite his efforts, Radler's health continued to decline, and he passed away around 1909 or 1910. His exact burial site remains unknown, adding an air of mystery to his story. Number 16, George Redbuck Waitman. What made this outlaw so notorious that even his hideout couldn't save him? Redbuck's life is a tale of violence and betrayal. Redbuck Waitman was a member of the infamous Doolin-Dalton gang, known for robbing banks, trains, and stagecoaches. He earned his nickname due to his fiery red hair and short temper. While little is known about his early life, his criminal career speaks volumes. He was not just an outlaw, but a violent one, reportedly killing several people during his robberies. On March 4, 1896, Redbuck's luck ran out near Arapahoe, Oklahoma. A posse, led by a determined Custer County lawman, cornered him. Redbuck fought fiercely, but the posse was well armed and relentless. In the ensuing gunfight, Redbuck was killed, marking the end of a bloody chapter in Wild West history. Number 15, Dan Dynamite Dick Clifton. How did a man named Dynamite Dick meet his explosive end? Let's uncover the story of this wild bunch outlaw. Dynamite Dick Clifton was one of the most notorious members of the Doolin-Dalton gang. Known for his wild temper and love for explosives, Dynamite Dick earned his nickname by blowing safes open during train and bank robberies. He was the muscle of the gang, feared for his brutality. His downfall began when a posse, led by Chris Madsen, tracked him to his hideout near Checotah, Indian Territory, on November 7, 1897.
Tired of expensive, low-effort script writers for your YouTube channel? Autoscripter.ai is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscripter.ai helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscripter.ai creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscripter.ai transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now.
After a prolonged standoff, Dynamite Dick attempted to escape, but was shot and killed by lawmen. His death marked the slow unraveling of the once dominant Wild Bunch. Number 14, Richard Little Dick West. What does loyalty to a gang cost? For Little Dick West, it cost him everything, including his life. Richard Little Dick West was another notorious member of the Doolin-Dalton gang, feared for his sharpshooting skills. Despite his nickname, there was nothing small about his reputation as a ruthless outlaw. Born in Missouri, West joined the gang as a teenager, quickly proving his mettle during robberies and shootouts. On April 8, 1898, West's loyalty to the Wild Bunch led him to a fatal confrontation. Lawmen had been closing in on the gang for years, and they finally tracked West to a remote ranch in Logan County, Oklahoma. A fierce gunfight ensued, but West found himself outgunned. Refusing to surrender, he was shot dead by a posse led by Deputy Marshal Chris Madsen. Number 13, Roy Arkansas Tom Jones, Doherty. Can an outlaw truly change his ways? Arkansas Tom's life raises this haunting question. Roy Doherty, better known as Arkansas Tom Jones, was an educated man who chose a life of crime. He became a Wild Bunch member and participated in several high-profile robberies. Known for his charm and intelligence, he often clashed with lawmen, but managed to escape capture multiple times. The luck ran out, though, on September 1, 1893, when law enforcement cornered him in Ingalls, Oklahoma. A standoff erupted, leading to his arrest. Jones served 17 years in prison before being released in 1910. For a time, he tried to go straight, but his old habits proved too strong. He returned to a life of crime and, in 1924, died in a shootout with lawmen in Joplin, Missouri. Number 12, William Marion Bill Dalton. How does a law-abiding family man become a notorious outlaw? Bill Dalton's transformation is a tale of loyalty, ambition, and inevitable downfall. Born in 1863 in Cass County, Missouri, Bill Dalton was one of 10 brothers in a family that straddled the line between law and lawlessness. While some of his siblings served as lawmen, others, like Bob and Grat Dalton, turned to crime, forming the infamous Dalton Gang. Initially, Bill pursued a more conventional path, engaging in politics and ranching in California. However, the deaths of his brothers during a botched bank robbery in Coffeyville, Kansas, in 1892 propelled him into a life of crime. Seeking revenge and perhaps driven by family loyalty, Bill joined forces with Bill Doolin to form the Doolin-Dalton Gang, also known as the Wild Bunch. They orchestrated a series of daring bank and train robberies across the Southwest, eluding law enforcement and cementing their notoriety. Their exploits include the audacious robbery of the Santa Fe train near Cimarron, Kansas, in 1893, where they made off with a substantial sum. However, the relentless pursuit by lawmen took its toll. On June 8, 1894, a posse tracked Bill Dalton to a farmhouse near Elk Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma. In the early morning hours, they surrounded the house. Dalton attempted to escape, but was shot and killed. Number 11, William Curly Bill Broches. What happens when a notorious outlaw crosses path with a legendary lawman? The encounter between Curly Bill Broches and Wyatt Earp is the stuff of Wild West legends. Born around 1845, William Broches, better known as Curly Bill, was a central figure among the Cochise County Cowboys, a loosely organized gang involved in cattle rustling and other illicit activities in Arizona Territory. Known for his curly hair and volatile temper, Curly Bill was both charismatic and feared. One of his most infamous acts occurred on October 28, 1880, in Tombstone, Arizona, when he accidentally shot and killed Town Marshal Fred White during a drunken altercation. Arrested by Wyatt Earp, Curly Bill was later acquitted, as the shooting was deemed accidental. This incident intensified the animosity between the cowboys and the Earp brothers, setting the stage for further confrontations. The climax came on March 24, 1882, near Iron Springs, now Mescal Springs. According to Wyatt Earp's account, he and his posse encountered Curly Bill and several cowboys. In the ensuing gunfight, Wyatt claimed to have killed Curly Bill with a shotgun blast. However, some contemporaneous reports and later historians question this account, suggesting that Curly Bill may have escaped and disappeared. Number 10, Johnny Ringo. Was Johnny Ringo's death a suicide or cunning murder? The mysterious circumstances surrounding his demise continue to intrigue historians and enthusiasts alike. Born on May 3, 1850, in Green Forks, Indiana, John Peters Ringo, known as Johnny Ringo, became one of the most enigmatic figures of the Old West. He was distantly related to the younger brothers, notorious outlaws associated with Jesse James. Ringo's family moved to Liberty, Missouri in 1856 and later embarked on a journey to California. Tragically, during this trip, his father, Martin Ringo, died in a wagon accident, an event that profoundly affected young Johnny. As an adult, Ringo drifted into a life of crime, becoming involved in various altercations and feuds. He gained notoriety in Tombstone, Arizona, aligning himself with the Cochise County Cowboys, a group often at odds with lawmen like the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday. Ringo's sharp wit and reputed skill with a gun made him both a feared and respected figure. On July 14, 1882, Ringo was found dead in Turkey Creek Canyon, Arizona Territory, with a single gunshot wound to his temple. A revolver was found in his hand, leading authorities to rule his death a suicide. However, the circumstances were suspicious. His horse was missing, and his boots were absent, which was unusual for someone traveling in the rugged terrain. These anomalies have fueled speculation that Ringo was murdered, with theories suggesting involvement by Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and other rivals. Adding to the mystery, Ringo's missing horse was found days later, with his coat draped over the saddle, containing personal items like photographs and a card bearing his sister's name. Number 9. James Butler, Wild Bill Hickock. How did a legendary lawman meet his end in a seemingly safe setting? The assassination of Wild Bill Hickock is a stark reminder of the ever-present dangers of the frontier. Born on May 27, 1837, in Homer, Illinois, James Butler Hickock, famously known as Wild Bill, was a larger-than-life figure in the American West. Standing over 6 feet tall with long, flowing hair, he was renowned for his skills as a gunfighter, scout, and lawman. His exploits, both real and embellished, made him a national celebrity. Hickock's reputation as a sharpshooter was solidified during a duel in Springfield, Missouri, in 1865, where he killed Davis Tutt over a gambling dispute. This incident was one of the first recorded quick-draw duels and contributed significantly to his legend. In 1876, Hickock arrived in Deadwood, Dakota Territory, seeking fortune in the gold rush. On August 2nd of 1876, he was playing poker at Nuttall and Mann's Saloon. Uncharacteristically, he sat with his back to the door, a position he usually avoided to prevent surprise attacks. Jack McCall, a disgruntled gambler whom Hickock had previously bested, entered the saloon and shot Hickock in the back of the head, killing him instantly. At the time of his death, Hickock was holding a pair of aces and eights, all black, which has since been dubbed the dead man's hand. McCall was initially acquitted in an illegal trial, but was later retried, found guilty, and hanged for the murder. Number 8. Jesse James. How did America's most notorious outlaw meet his end in his own home? The assassination of Jesse James is a tale of betrayal and the relentless pursuit of justice. Born on September 5, 1847, in Clay County, Missouri, Jesse Woodson James grew up in a family with strong Southern sympathies. During the Civil War, he joined the pro-Confederate guerrillas, known as bushwhackers, engaging in brutal raids across Missouri and Kansas. After the war, Jesse and his brother Frank turned to crime, forming the James Younger Gang, notorious for bank and train robberies. Their exploits captured the public's imagination, casting Jesse as a Robin Hood figure, though in reality he stole for personal gain. By 1882, with the gang's numbers dwindling and law enforcement closing in, Jesse sought refuge in St. Joseph, Missouri, under the alias Thomas Howard. He invited brothers Robert and Charlie Ford, fellow gang members, to live with him. Unbeknownst to Jesse, the Fords had conspired with Missouri Governor Thomas Crittenden to betray him for a $10,000 reward. On April 3, 1882, as Jesse prepared to dust a picture off the wall, Robert Ford shot him in the back of the head, killing him instantly. the assassination shocked the nation. The Fords were initially charged with murder, pleaded guilty, and were sentenced to death. However, they were quickly pardoned by Governor Crittenden, sparking public outrage. Robert Ford, forever branded as the man who shot Jesse James, met his own violent end in 1892, gunned down in a Colorado saloon. Number 7, Billy the Kid. Was Billy the Kid truly killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett, or did he escape to live another day? The death of this infamous outlaw is shrouded in mystery and legend. Born Henry McCarty, likely on November the 23rd, 1859, in New York City, he later adopted the alias William H. Bonney, becoming famous as Billy the Kid. Orphaned at a young age, he drifted into a life of crime, earning the reputation as a skilled gunfighter. He claimed to have killed 21 men, though the actual number is believed to be fewer. Bill's notoriety peaked during the Lincoln County War in New Mexico, a violent feud between rival fractions. After the conflict, he continued his outlaw activities, leading to his capture and conviction for murder. Sentenced to hang, he made a daring escape from the Lincoln County Courthouse in April 1881, killing 2 deputies in the process. Sheriff Pat Garrett, determined to recapture him, tracked Billy to Fort Sumner in New Mexico, and on July the 14th, 1881, Garrett shot and killed a man he identified as Billy the Kid. However, doubts about the identity of the deceased arose almost immediately. Some claimed Garrett killed the wrong man, while others believed Billy faked his death and lived under an alias. Over the years, several individuals surfaced, asserting that they were Billy the Kid, most notably Brushy Bill Roberts in the 1950s, though these claims lack definitive proof. Number 6, Pat Garrett.
My luck's running good.
Patrick F. Garrett. He was the most...
What happens when the hunter becomes the hunted? Pat Garrett, famed for killing Billy the Kid, met a mysterious and violent end himself. Born on June 5, 1850, in Chambers County, Alabama, Patrick Floyd Jarvis Garrett became a legendary lawman in the American West. After a stint as a cowboy and buffalo hunter, he was appointed sheriff of Lincoln County, New Mexico. In this role, he tracked down and killed the notorious outlaw Billy the Kid in 1881, a deed that brought him both fame and controversy. Despite his notoriety, Garrett's later life was fraught with difficulties. He struggled financially and faced political challenges, including failed attempts at re-election and contentious appointments. On February 29, 1908, while traveling near Las Cruces, New Mexico, Garrett was shot and killed under mysterious circumstances. He was reportedly urinating on the side of the road when an unknown assailant shot him in the back of the head. Wayne Brazel, a local cowboy involved in a land dispute with Garrett, confessed to the killing but was acquitted, leading to speculation about a possible conspiracy. Number 5, Doc Holliday. How did a genteel dentist become one of the most feared gunfighters of the Wild West? Doc Holliday's transformation is a tale of illness, friendship, and survival. Born John Henry Holliday on August 14, 1851, in Griffin, Georgia, he pursued a career in dentistry, graduating from the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery in 1872. However, after being diagnosed with tuberculosis, a disease that had claimed his mother, Holliday moved west, seeking a drier climate to prolong his life. In the West, Holliday turned to gambling and became adept with a gun, earning a reputation as a formidable and deadly figure. He formed a close friendship with lawman Wyatt Earp and played a significant role in the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona in 1881. This 30-second shootout cemented his legacy as a Wild West legend. Holliday's health continued to decline due to tuberculosis. In 1887, he relocated in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, hoping the hot springs would provide relief. Unfortunately, the sulfuric fumes exacerbated his condition. On November 8, 1887, at the age of just 36 years old, Doc Holliday died in his hotel room. His last words were reportedly, "This is funny," perhaps reflecting his surprise at dying in bed rather than in a gunfight. Number 4. Morgan Earp. How did a night at the theater lead to a lawman's assassination? Morgan Earp's untimely death is a tale of vengeance and frontier justice. Born on April the 24th, 1851, in Pellow, Iowa, Morgan Seth Earp was the younger brother of famed lawmen Wyatt and Virgil Earp. Following in his brother's footsteps, Morgan became a lawman and ventured to Tombstone, Arizona in 1880. There he served as a special policeman and participated in the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral on October the 26th, 1881, alongside his brothers and Doc Holliday. This 30-second shootout resulted in the deaths of 3 outlaw cowboys and intensified a violent feud between the Earps and the cowboys. On the night of March the 18th, 1882, after attending a theater performance, Morgan was playing billiards at Campbell and Hatch's saloon in Tombstone. At approximately 10:50 p.m., shots were fired through a window, striking Morgan in the back. The bullet shattered his spine and exited through his chest. Despite immediate medical attention, Morgan succumbed to his injuries within the hour. He was just 30 years old. The assassination was widely believed to be a retaliation by the cowboys for the OK Corral incident and subsequent conflicts. Morgan's death deeply affected the brothers, particularly Wyatt, who embarked on a vendetta ride to exact revenge on those responsible. Morgan's body was transported to Colton, California, where he was buried in the family plot. Number 3. Virgil Earp. What price does a lawman pay for upholding justice in a lawless land? Virgil Earp's life was marked by bravery, tragedy, and an unwavering commitment to duty. Born on July the 18th, 1843, in Hartford, Kentucky, Virgil Walter Earp was the second eldest of the Earp brothers. He served in the Union Army during the Civil War and later pursued various occupations across the American frontier. In 1879, Virgil was appointed Deputy U.S. Marshal in Tombstone, Arizona, a booming silver mining town rife with lawlessness. As City Marshal of Tombstone, Virgil played a pivotal role in the gunfight at the OK Corral, leading his brothers Wyatt and Morgan, along with Doc Holliday, against the outlaw cowboys. The confrontation left Virgil wounded and escalated tensions in the region. On December the 28th, 1881, as Virgil walked towards his hotel, assailants hiding in the shadows ambushed him. He was struck by gunshot blasts in the back and left arm, resulting in a shattered humerus and permanent disability. Despite his injuries, Virgil survived and continued his law enforcement career. After leaving Tombstone, Virgil served as a lawman in various towns, including Colton, California, and Goldfield, Nevada. He passed away from pneumonia on October the 19th, 1905, at the age of 62. Virgil was buried in Portland, Oregon, with a simple ceremony. Number 2. Ike Clanton. How did a notorious survivor of the OK Corral meet his ultimate fate? Ike Clanton's end came not in a famous shootout, but in a lesser-known confrontation that sealed his legacy. Born Joseph Isaac Clanton around 1847, Ike was a prominent member of the Cochise County Cowboys, a loosely organized group of outlaws in Arizona Territory. He is perhaps best known for his involvement in the events leading up to the gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona, on October the 26th of 1881. During the infamous shootout, Ike, unarmed, fled the scene while his brother, Billy, and associates Tom and Frank McClary were killed. Following the gunfight, Ike filed murder charges against the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday, but the court found insufficient evidence to proceed. Undeterred, Ike continued his outlaw activities, primarily cattle rustling. On June 1, 1887, while attempting to steal cattle near Springville, Arizona, Ike was confronted by lawman Jonas V. Brighton. Accounts vary, but during the encounter, Ike was shot and killed. Some reports suggested he was shot while attempting to flee, while others imply he resisted arrest. his body was reportedly left where it fell for several days until local ranchers buried him in an unmarked grave. Number 1, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Did these infamous outlaws meet their end in a Bolivian shootout, or did they escape to live under new identities? The fate of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid remains one of the Wild West's most enduring mysteries. Robert Leroy Parker, known as Butch Cassidy, and Harry Alonzo Longabaugh, the Sundance Kid, were leaders of the Wild Bunch, a notorious gang that robbed banks and trains across the American West in the late 1800s. Pursued relentlessly by law enforcement, including the Pinkerton Detective Agency, the duo fled to South America in 1901, seeking refuge and new opportunities. Settling in Bolivia, they attempted to live legitimately, but soon returned to their outlaw ways. In November of 1908, after robbing a payroll near San Vicente, Bolivia, they were tracked to a local boarding house. Bolivian authorities surrounded the building, leading to a brief gunfight. The next morning, 2 bodies were found inside, both with multiple bullet wounds. Local officials identified the deceased as the American bandits Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. However, doubts of other deaths emerged over time. Some researchers suggest that the pair survived and returned to the United States under assumed identities. In 1991, an exhumation of the purported graves in Bolivia failed to provide conclusive evidence, as the remains did not match the outlaws' known physical characteristics. Additionally, family members and acquaintances later claimed to have seen or interacted with them years after their alleged deaths. Thanks for watching. If you loved exploring the tragic tales of the Wild West, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell to join us for more legendary stories. Check out these other videos for more incredible tales of history and adventure.